Hey, Brian.
What?
Guess what?
What?
I just bought a bunch of potatoes.
No!
Welcome to Crocs in the Kitchen.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Jessica. So, we have been, as you guys know, celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the start of our whole food plant-based diet, which we kicked off with 2 weeks of nothing but plain potatoes.
Yes.
Yes, they were plain. Nothing added.
Nothing added.
So we get a lot of questions asking, why did you do them plain? There are plenty of videos linked below if you want to check that out that explain why we did them plain. But for today, I went out and purchased a bunch of plain potatoes.
For one simple reason, and that is a baked potato throwdown. Yes, we decided to culminate our 2-week celebration with none other than a throwdown video because we're gluttons for punishment, and we were like, yeah, let's just eat a bunch of potatoes.
Yes. So one of the reasons we wanted to do this potato throwdown is because when we ate our 2 weeks of plain potatoes, you could really notice the difference in the flavors of the different kinds of potatoes. And that's not something I'd really ever put much thought into before, because usually you're just like, butter everything, put, whatever on potatoes and make to make them taste good. But they all have their own unique flavor. And so I wanted to go back a year later and see if my taste buds, can still detect all the little tiny differences and all that kind of stuff as they could when we were just eating them plain.
So, without further ado, let's get to the throwdown. Our first contender, high in vitamin C and potassium, the russet potato. The second contender entering the arena is the red potato. And our third contestant, coming from the Great White North, Yukon Gold. And filling out the final spot, it is the great and mighty sweet potato. Each one of these potatoes is unique and brings something different to the battle. But let's get on to the next phase of preparation. Back to you, Brian. Thank you, Brian. Start off by preheating your oven to 350 degrees. Next, we get to washing the potatoes. For those of you who said, please stop wasting water, this one's for you. Remember, folks, if you do not scrub your potatoes thoroughly, Jessica will get mad at you. Look at that filthy water. That's why you wash your potatoes, people. Next, you will need to poke all of your potatoes to make sure that they do not explode. So just use a fork and poke them like so. We place the russet, the red, and the Yukon Gold directly on the rack. We place the sweet potato in a pan because you do not want those liquids cooking out of the potato and down onto your oven. I remembered to put the pan under the potatoes because Jessica yelled at me last time.
No, I did not.
After an hour, I checked the potatoes to make sure that they were done, of course using a knife to stab in. If it goes in cleanly, comes out cleanly, you know that they are done. And so there you have it, 4 baked potatoes, all ready to be tested and judged. So there in 1 short hour, we have our delicious baked potatoes ready to go and to be tested.
We don't know if they're delicious yet.
Well, I'm hoping that they will be, but wait, what's that? And from out of nowhere, fingerling potatoes have entered the arena. Cooked on 350 degrees in the air fryer for 30 minutes, these fingerlings are hoping to put the beat down on the rest of the potatoes. Who would have guessed? Look at Peef, trainer extraordinaire, bringing out a 5th contender for our potato throwdown. Man, Peef, that was a good one.
Good call.
Hopefully they can hold up against the rest of these potatoes that we have here. So without further ado, let's get to tasting.
Yes, let's start with the basic russet potato.
Russet potatoes.
All right, I have the knives. So if you cooked it properly, it should be nice and fluffy and inside.
I'd say that looks pretty fluffy. Here, just trade
you can
forks.
have that.
There you go. It smells like potato.
Cook potato, eat potato.
Yeah, I like it.
Ooh, it looks like it is actually done really well.
I know.
We let these sit for a
doing.
while because we don't like to eat them straight. Like hot potatoes just don't taste as good.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's see.
You ready? Mm-hmm. Go for it. Yeah, that's, I mean, obviously it's a plain baked potato, so it doesn't have a massive amount of flavor. The inside, though, is very fluffy. It's creamy. It's got a nice sort of earthy flavor to it. All in all, good choice for anybody wanting to do anything with potatoes.
You mean like dirt?
They don't taste like dirt.
No, it doesn't. It's actually not bad.
Yeah, tastes pretty good to me.
I think it's just tasting it, it's like you just know why potatoes are such a good like starting point for other things to be added, because they just, you know, it's kind of a neutral, nice flavor.
Yeah.
When we were doing the 2 weeks of potatoes, I actually was preferring like the red, the gold, all those kind of potatoes. So that's why we really wanted to include these 2. So let's try out this red potato. This is a giant red potato.
It is a big red potato.
I ate a lot of smaller ones, but when I went and bought these yesterday, they were like, you pay by potato, not by weight. So I was like, I'm getting the biggest ones I can find.
Yeah, just cut that in half. There you go.
Hold on.
Oh.
This is so like difficult to do gracefully.
And don't do it gracefully.
Okay. Well, I don't do anything gracefully, but all right. Potato, red potato. Here we go.
Similar texture to the russet, but denser and slightly sweet. Right? Yeah, it tastes like it's got a little bit of sugar kind of in there somewhere.
It's yeah, it's definitely a different flavor. The texture is the biggest difference for me. Is just this is so much more fluffy and whatever, and like so this is just
and the
dense.
skin is much thinner.
Yeah.
And so it kind of just it rips like paper. While that one it actually has like a bite to it.
Yeah. I think this one's gonna be my favorite, but we'll see. You're messing up my plate alignment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I spent like 5 minutes arranging these plates in perfect alignment.
She did, actually.
All right.
All right.
So this is just a standard gold.
Yukon gold potato. Looks very nice.
They just look buttery. That's why when we did the plain potatoes, I was drawn toward these because I was like, oh, it
smells
just
like
looks
steam, though.
At least the smell of potatoes doesn't make me cry anymore.
Definitely waxier. Definitely denser than the reds, but still really nice. I like that actually.
I want to try like a piece of the outer.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Help.
How many people does it take to cut a potato?
I don't know, but I'm having fun with this.
Give me my potato. Well, I don't do anything gracefully, but
Graceful, graceful.
There is sort of a butteriness.
Yeah,
A
slight
bit
butteriness to it.
It's there's like a, I don't know if it's like a sweetness or there's some other flavor though that I get when I eat that I don't get from these two.
I don't know. Could have cooked it a little bit longer.
I don't know about the sweet potato. I actually haven't had, I don't know, other than like in random dishes, like I think those tofu bowls we like to get at Trader Joe's have sweet potato in them, but don't they?
Yeah, they've got some
But
sweet
other
potato.
than
I'm
that,
gonna go
I
for
haven't
this.
really eaten a lot of sweet potato since we finished the 2 weeks.
I'm trying to get like a middle piece here.
Yeah, Brian really liked the sweet potatoes because they had that little caramelized goodness that comes out of them.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm gonna get you a nice like smaller piece of this instead of like go for a giant. I'm gonna move this potato over a bit so I can get some more plate room.
Oh my goodness. I like my tiny plates. It smells like a sweet potato.
See, I haven't actually eaten a sweet potato in the last year.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, the thing is,
And not necessarily in a good way. It's just kind of... It's okay. It's not great. If I'd cooked it much longer, it probably would have gotten a lot softer. And this is more like it is just done. So
this end here, you can see, like if you want to cut off that little piece, it's a little bit more of that mushy. I just remember when Brian made them during the potato weeks, it was like they were mush by the time he got done cooking them. So I actually prefer them in this state, I think, because it doesn't get quite as sweet. I think the longer you cook it, the sweeter it gets. And I just think, I don't know, but I don't mind that.
I don't mind it, but it's definitely not my favorite.
Yeah.
All right, and for the fifth contender,
Peef.
which one of these are you grabbing? Because there's actually a melange of potatoes. You got some purple ones there. The long yellow ones. Oh, okay, I'm gonna try the one right next to it then, because that's the.
Okay, now we did have fingerling potatoes one time during our 2 weeks of potatoes, and they were salty to me. So let's see.
I like the yellow ones more than I like the purple ones. I don't know. These taste better.
I'm not really digging the purple one. It's sending me on flashbacks.
Yeah, it's got a weird sort of aftertaste to it that we don't like.
Sorry, Peef.
Done? All right.
I'm done.
So, Jessica,
Yes.
if we're going to judge these, which ones do you think you got?
Okay. I can do my ranking from 1 to 5.
1 to 5. Got it. Go.
All right. Number 1. The gold.
Yukon Gold. All right.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Red.
Red potatoes. All right. Number 3.
Go. 3. Russet.
Russet. Number 4.
Sweet.
Sweet.
And sorry, Peef, you lost.
Fingerlings at number
Fingerlings.
5. All right. My order is a little bit different. I will do red potatoes, number 1. I will do russet, number 2. I will do Yukon Gold, number 3. Sweet potato, number 4. Fingerlings, number 5. I'm sorry, Peef. You just did not do a good job.
You did not deliver.
Nope. But, yeah. I mean, that's just my preference. That's her preference as well, you know?
Yeah, the interesting thing, one of the reasons I wanted to do this was just because I like how you're just grinning because you're like, oh,
I know where
great.
this is going.
She's gonna
start crying again.
She's gonna chat. It's gonna get emotional. No, you're goofy.
I know.
So no, one of the reasons I wanted to do this is because originally when we started eating the plain potatoes, people said, yeah, you can really taste the difference when you stop saturating your taste buds with all of this other junk.
Yeah, the stuff that goes on top of the potatoes.
Yeah, you can start to really taste food, And so I wanted to see a year later, is that still the case? And I think it is.
I think that, I don't know, this has been fun.
Yeah,
this was a fun little challenge to do and a great way to close out the anniversary of our 2 weeks of potatoes before obviously switching to our whole food plant-based diet. I know that it's been fascinating seeing all of the comments that you guys have been posting, especially with the update of, you know, the year anniversary of our potato time. But yeah, this has been a blast.
Yeah, so if you want to know more about what we actually have done to lose weight, be sure to check out all of our other videos. We have some multiple playlists created for different things depending on what you're looking for. If you're looking for more recipes of what we actually eat in our everyday lives, we do have a lot of those out there, and we're working on a ton more. We have a few coming in the next couple of weeks that will be really good.
I promise we will eventually get to a what I eat in a day video.
Yes. That's our most requested thing right
that is
now.
obvious. Yeah, that's the most requested thing we get.
Yes.
But you know, I mean, we'll get around to it, I promise.
Yes.
Yeah, but check out a lot of our other videos. We've got a ton of recipes that are just absolutely fantastic. Also, if you want, find us on any of our social media platforms, especially Instagram, because Jessica loves the Instagram. And
you can get behind the scenes photos of Peef.
Yeah, that is actually true, or other random things just that she happens to want to post on there.
Yeah.
But please subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so, and click that bell that is right next to it, and you will get all of the notifications for whenever we post a new video or something along those lines. And is that it?
Yep. Now we just got to figure out what to do with all these potatoes.
Well, obviously you're going to cover them in queso. So either way, folks, that's all I got. I think that's all she's got. We will see you next time on Crocs in the Kitchen. Bye-bye.